Welcome back to the Core Cars News Tech Lab. Today we're taking a look at 10 brand new Fire TV apps for February 2019. Now these will work for the Fire TV players and Fire TV sticks. I'm demoing it on the Fire TV Stick 4K. So check it out on your player. Sometimes Amazon likes to roll them out where it'll come out maybe newer or older players first, then roll it to the other ones. So just keep that in mind if there's one you can't find. I will put links to them down below so you can add it from the Amazon's website through those links in the show notes and in the comments. So let's dive into it. But first, hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help us. Hopefully we're going to help you find something new to get the most out of your Fire TV. And if you want to save money on TV overall, we cover the road to cord cutting, Roku's, Fire TVs, Sling, DirecTV Now, YouTube TV, and more. So let's dive into it. No particular order, so just because one's first doesn't make it better than the rest. Now, right off the bat is the IMDb Freedive. Now this is a ad-supported streaming service from Amazon. They now own IMDb, have for a little while now, and they're using the brand to launch free movies to take on Sony Crackle, Tubi, the Roku channel, Pluto, and more. And it's a pretty good lineup. Sometimes when these services launch, you find the selection to be less than perfect. But they have a really good selection of movies, as you can see, Big Fish, great TV shows like Kitchen Nightmares, Fringe, Heroes, classics like Dallas and Gilligan's Island, Caprica, even some other content like Duck Dynasty is included here. Really good lineup of content. Would recommend you check this out. It does come pre-installed on your Fire TV. You cannot uninstall it, unfortunately. They added it in. But you can go, you know how it's the first one in your app list right now. You can hit the menu key and select Move down here to hide it and put it at the back of your list where you won't see it if you don't want it. I would say, hey, check it out. It's not a bad option to get free movies and TV shows. Next up is VidGo. This is a live TV streaming service. I currently don't have the ability to demo it live, but you can go in there. It currently is in international formats. They are working on a US version to take on the Slings and DirecTV Now, YouTube TV, Hulu, and more. And it's just one more option. So if you've been thinking about, hey, none of these live TV services meet what I want. Maybe I want more international content. Now check out VidGo. The Fire TV is, I believe, one of the very first streaming players to get VidGo support. Previously, it was just on phones and tablets and the computer. Next up is NewsNet. Now, NewsNet is a 24/7 news network. It first launched as a regional news network, and they launched a bunch of new regional news networks free over there with an antenna across the United States. Now they have a nationwide one that's kind of a big 24/7 news network, available streaming online and in select markets with an antenna. Of course, when you launch the app, you get the ability to go, hey, there's some stories I want to watch. Hey, record-breaking snow, let's check that out. You can also say, hey, I want to watch the live news and get a 24/7 live news feed. The cool thing about it is they say no talking heads, no panels. This is going to be news. And they're going to try to focus on the ability to be, hey, every 30 minutes you get the top stories. We cover in-depth stories in between that and go into it. So if you're looking for a news option, check out NewsNet as the newest free option here. If you live in one of the markets where it's free over there with an antenna, check that out too. But just last week it came to the Fire TV. And honestly, even if you're not a news person, I would recommend having one of these, whether it be the CBS Sports or NewsNet or CBS News, excuse me. I would get a couple of these because you never know when a big news event happens and you're like, hey, I really kind of want to know what's happening about that hurricane or that political event or some type of natural disaster. Having a news option on your streaming player is a great backup there, and it's free, so keep that in mind. Next up is Stir. Now, Stir is a live TV and on-demand streaming service from Sinclair. When you first launch it, it will ask you, hey, where do you live? And then from there, it will populate local news. They say if your local market isn't included, they recommend adding Washington, D.C. as your home market because then you're going to get national news from Washington, D.C. But it does allow you the ability to go and watch live TV. Currently with a handful of networks like Comet for 24/7, Sci-Fi, Dove, TBD, Charge, Buzzer, one of my favorites, tons of classic game shows are on here. So when you launch it, you can come up with a traditional grid guide here. You see here, I got Password, Super Password, Card Sharks, all kinds of classic games, Con TV, the Dove, Funny Pets, Fail Army, the Tennis Channel, which is pretty cool. So they do have the ability here to have Tennis Channel content. They're doing live coverage. I don't know if it's live, but they're doing coverage of the Australian Women's Open Final. So pretty cool. And then Outdoor Network and more is on here. Cheddar, NASA TV, and other stuff. They also have on-demand movies and TV shows from these networks. It's really a great way. Previously, it was kind of hard to find Buzzard and Charge and Comet all in one spot. You had them spread out. Comet had an app on Roku and Apple, but not on the Fire TV. Now with Stir, it's all on the Fire TV, all in a single spot, with some local news, with some on-demand content. And again, they say they're going to keep adding content to hit hopefully 50 channels by the end of the year. Next up is Business Insider. You probably are familiar with the Business Insider website. Covers a wide range of content out there, but they've really kind of dived into videos. You know, right here they're doing one from 1984 to 2016. See how much the world has changed, which is it's a pretty cool image right there. But they do all kinds of stuff, like they're comparing the AirPods to a generic version. They have news, in-depth, food, content, tech insiders. Dunkin' Donut has donut fries. Okay, maybe have to check that out. So tons of content here, including beauty and pop culture and more. So if you're interested in Business Insider, you like their content, it's one more 100% free new way to access their content. Instead of watching it on your phone, you can watch it on your TV now. Next up is the Law and Crime Trial Network. Now, if you remember the old Court TV days, I'm going to X out because they're going to play this commercial, and they're not paying me for that commercial. If you remember the old Court TV days, this is basically a Court TV network. Now, Court TV is coming back as a free over-the-air network in May of 2019. But here, they really dive deep into the major court cases happening. You get live looks into court hearings that are currently happening, documentaries, panels, diving into some of the biggest court stories happening right now across the country. So if you are into it, it is paid. You get like a 30-minute free trial. You get some content on demand free. But if you want the live feed and more, you have to pay for it. It is on other networks like Philo. If you're a Philo subscriber, you can get it through there. But they do offer a la carte option right here. Next up is a local news option. Now, I've demoed this particular one before, but when I was looking at all the new apps coming to the Fire TV over the last month or so, I was shocked. There were a ton of news apps for local news. So I would highly recommend, if your local news network wasn't on there that you wanted, check again in the Fire TV App Store. Use the call letters, use your city. It kind of depends on how it comes up, which network, how to enter it. But you see, it's the new, live news is happening right now, so I get a live feed. I can click on that to watch it live. I can go up here to the top and click on like news. This one's pretty standard example of all the ones out there. See, I got all my news, local news. I can go over to sports. These sports, I can see weather. I can get my weather forecast. I can watch a on-demand weather report whenever I want it for my hometown. So check your local news network. If they weren't on here before, I must say maybe 30 networks were added in the last couple weeks. Check it out. Next up is Sega. Now, I included the Sega's Remastered Classics version a while back. And this is a deal you can buy and get access to a ton of Sonic games. So Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic CD, Altered Beast, Comic Zone, all kinds of Sega Genesis games are on here that you can buy. And you can game on them with your current remote. You have to flip it from this direction to the sideways to access it, to use the content. But they do sell a game controller I will link to in the show notes down below that I would recommend using rather than the regular remote. But if you want a cheap way to get remastered versions of like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic CD, and more all in one spot, this is a pretty cool way to do that. And it was on the Fire TV, they removed it, now it's back. So check it out. Again, a link to all these in the show notes down below. All right, now second to last, in no particular order, is BBC News. Now, BBC News rolled out this brand new Fire TV update a while back, and I don't think I've ever displayed BBC News, so I wanted to show you. It's a really great option, available in the United States and different parts of the world, but it gives you access to a ton of content. So, of course, you got the news, a lot of Grammy news here with that last night. You can see the home, but I can also go in here and say, hey, I want US and Canada news only. Let's check that out. Or maybe, hey, I live in the US, but I'm from Australia. Let's see what's happening in Australia. Or I heard there was a major political event happening in India. Let's go see what's happening in India, or maybe China, or what's happening in Europe. So they do a really good job of bringing you news from all over the world for free on your Fire TV. And I really love the ability to say, hey, I want to kind of either narrow it down to my home country, or what's happening in the UK, what's happening in Europe, what's happening in India, Asia, China, and more. So check that out, BBC News down there. Next up is YouTube. Now, we all know YouTube was pulled from the Fire TV a while ago. Now, they have not re-added it, but they do have a bookmark here. So they do have the ability here to go in, and I'm not logged in, so this is just the top, whatever is available at the moment. But they do have a web version. So you get to pick, do you want the Firefox browser or the Amazon Silk browser? And it does look very similar. You notice if you have a Roku or a Android TV device, this is very similar looking to the app there. You can go over here and I can go and sign in. So if I wanted to, I can log in with my YouTube username and password, and then I can access all my subscribed channels, my on-demand content. I can go through it and watch if I watch something halfway, I can go to the history and finish it on my TV and more. So check it out. It's just the YouTube standard app. I know there's about 5,000 YouTube apps now out there, but if you just wanted the ability to have it, it's there. Now it's not 100%, but it's a pretty good replacement for the dedicated YouTube app on the Fire TV. So let's recap these real quick to give you an idea of everything we covered today. IMDb, free movies and TV shows from Amazon. VidGo, which is a 100% free, it's a subscription live TV service there. Check them out, competing with Hulu, YouTube TV, and more. So keep an eye on that. NewsNet, this is the 100% free news service there. Check them out. Again, even if you're not a news person, I would still recommend keeping 1 or 2 news apps on your Fire TV. So when that big news event happens that you want to hear about, you have it right there. Stir, access to a ton of live and on-demand content from places like Comet, Dust, Charge, Buzzard. A lot of these ones you probably see as the sub-channel numbers on your antenna are now streaming there. And ones like Comet, which have streamed on Apple and Roku for a while, are now finally on the Fire TV. Great to see it. Business Insider, a brand new app, all their content, really good stuff they offer. Law and Crime, not free, but they do offer a subscription service and a free trial if you want to test it out. Check for your local news. I want to say at least 20, 30 apps were added from local news places. Sega Classics is back on the Fire TV. It was gone for a few days, came back. Check it out. Classic Sega Genesis games all in one spot. BBC News and the YouTube.com bookmark, so you can easily access it on your Fire TV through the web browser. Hey, questions, comments, let me know. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. Hopefully something in this list jumped out at you. Maybe something new you didn't know about. Maybe you can get more out of your Fire TV with this. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We appreciate your support.